Yeah, hey Glover. Obviously, the big question going into it is after having the fight rescheduled and everything, what is the feeling like going into this one?
I feel great, man. The fight reschedule, but we just gotta think positive. And the camp was amazing, and we going through crazy time, man. Just trying to keep positive thinking in my head.
Anthony Smith is a guy that a lot of people still have a lot of hype. A lot of people think he is still very close to the top of the division. I want to ask, you're on a 3-fight win streak yourself. Do you think that if you take out Anthony, that you might be a lot closer to the title than a lot of people are putting you at right now?
Definitely. Anthony Smith is there with top few guys like Thiago Marreta and Dominic Reyes, and definitely beating him. I'll be right there, knocking in the door again.
Finally, you guys are at the hotel. You're supposed to be quarantined and not doing too much. Can you just talk about what your plan is for the next 50 or so hours before you get to your fight?
Just chill, man, hang out. I mean, I've been doing that for the last few camps. To be honest, I love the way Trifecta, the PI is helping us with the food, so we don't. I don't even have to go out for food and anything. I just walk outside a little bit just to get some sun. It's beautiful over here, just for about 15 minutes. But that's all. That's all about it. Do the interviews and stay in the room and just concentrate and get ready for this battle.
Hey, thank you, Glover. Good luck.
All right, you're welcome, man. Thank you.
And next up, we have Jeff Wagenheim from ESPN. Please go ahead, Jeff.
Hey, Glover. I'm wondering if watching the fights that went down on Saturday in an empty arena might change in any way your approach to your fight, because obviously with no fans in the building, people could hear the cornermen and the coaches what their instructions were to the fighters as the fight went on, and also some of the fighters said afterward that they could hear the TV commentary and they could hear commentators saying, "Hey, this fighter should be doing this or that," and they actually utilize some of that information during their fights. I wonder if that has any impact on your approach to this fight.
Not really, man. It's just exciting. It's a new thing. Just gotta enjoy the journey and embrace the challenge. It's a challenge for all of us. Fighter with no fans in the arena. We love the fans. I was just telling about today. It's like a Guns N' Roses shows with no people there. It's kind of weird, but just gotta embrace the challenge. Go over there and do our max.
So if you hear something from cage side of if Daniel Cormier says, "Oh, Glover should be doing this," you're gonna pay attention to him. Or you're gonna pay attention to your coach telling you something different.
I'll be focusing on my fight. Hey man, if Daniel Cormier say something, I might, who knows? I might listen to him. A lot of the times it's like they should be doing this, should be doing that, but it's a situation of as a fighting and what are you training? I don't know. I'm gonna pay attention to my coach, of course. They train me. They know what I'm capable of. What we train, and trying to stay with the game plan.
Sounds great. That's all I got.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And next up, we'll take questions from Mike Bond with Rolling Stone. Mike, go ahead.
Hey, Glover. I talked to Anthony when he was first trying to push for this fight in December, and he told me a story of back in 2013 after he lost his first UFC fight in Brazil. He was trying to leave the airport, and you kind of came up to him unsolicited and really, helped him out and, helped point him where to go. Can you just tell me your version of that story and why you felt compelled to do that with Anthony when, he was more or less just a stranger to you at the time?
Yeah. It's on my thing, man. It's like I see a guy struggle. I think he having a problem with translating or something. The guy wasn't understand him. I don't even remember the whole thing, but it's just like that's something I would do with anyone, man. Especially seeing the guy after he lost the fight, going going to the airport. It sucks. I've been there before, been in that position before. And, just trying to help the guy. And Anthony Smith is an amazing guy, man. He's a great guy. So, I have, me, I have no beef with anyone in the sport. I'm good with everyone. I respect everyone. But, it's time to fight. It's time to fight.
Yeah. Could you ever have imagined at that time that he would be a future opponent? Obviously, he was cut from the UFC right after that loss. It was a middleweight fight. Could you have ever imagined after you helped him on that day that all these years later he would be an opponent in a main event?
No, not really. I mean, everything's possible in the sport, but he was fighting a different weight class. It's like usually if you're guys in the same weight class, you kind of like, even if you start doing his debut, you kind of look at him and like, hey, it could be a future opponent. But I not for Anthony Smith because he's in a 185. He was in 185 back then, and I didn't think about that at all.
Yeah, and last thing from me, Anthony's been nothing but respectful in the lead up to this fight. He said, he's very happy that you've never wavered. You've always been willing to compete, even with the change of date and anything. Did you always feel the exact same way? Did you ever have any doubt that this fight would happen, especially, when the news came out about Anthony's home invasion and all that stuff that was going on in his personal life in the lead up to this fight too?
Yeah. Well, after I read the thing, when I see the headlines, I think my wife told me, Anthony Smith got, somebody broken in Anthony Smith's house. It's like, he's okay. First thing I asked was like, of course, because of him and his family, I don't want anything like that to happen with with my worst enemy, and especially with the opponent like that in the sport. I just I'm glad him and his family is okay. And other thing, I was like, he's okay. Like, is the fight's gonna still going on? Because even if he is like over there punching somebody in the head and could break his hand or something, I was like afraid of that. But I'm glad that everything works out well for him and for us.
And last thing, he said he wants to be the first person to ever submit you in MMA. How do you feel about that?
Hey, man, a lot of people thought about that too. So you my guest.
Thanks, Glover.
Thank you.
And next up, we have Jay Anderson from Cage Side Press. Please go ahead, Jay.
Glover, welcome back. Just a couple of quick ones for me. I mean, it's been 6 years since you fought John Jones, roughly. A win here would give you your best streak since leading into that fight. What's changed in your game and your skill set since that time?
I have to sit back, man. After I was right there, close to the title. I fought Anthony Smith. I mean Anthony Johnson and Gustafsson. The both guys they beat me and they get a title fight. I was right there too a couple of times, and I gotta sit back and see validate things to see what I was doing wrong. I went to PI in Las Vegas, UFC PI, and basically ask for help, see what's going on with at this age, how to train, how I was training, and basically they say I was training too much, overtraining. I kind of knew that, at camps I was sleeping bad and everything. And last year, after I started following up the program, the diet, the program, the discipline, it helped me so much. I've been happier in a camp, sleeping better and everything. It works out great, 3 fights, 3 wins. So it was amazing. In 2018, I was in such a crazy camp. I think because of my age and I couldn't do the things that I was doing when I was 25, 28 anymore. And it was going crazy, man. I was overtraining too much. I was like miserable in camp, thinking like, to be honest, I was thinking sometimes like, I can't wait until this is over, and this is a bad thinking. And right now I'm like, hey, I wish I was 30 years old so I can do this for another 15 years,
Good stuff, man. And, speaking of the age and a guy you are a big fan of, Mike Tyson, There's talk that maybe he comes back and takes an exhibition fight. He's got an offer for bare knuckle boxing. What do you think about him potentially even coming back for exhibition at his age?
Yeah, man. He's a legend, man. Everybody's gonna watch that fight. Everybody's wanted to watch that fight. I don't know. I mean, I hope they come for exhibition fight. Full round to be good. I wouldn't want to see Mike Tyson with young guys anymore. But definitely guys that his age and maybe Holyfield. Who knows? I'd like to see that fight. That's one of the fights. Him and Holyfield. I watch that every time before my fights, and I watch Tyson highlights. Pretty much every fight, but Evander Holyfield and Mike Tyson was one of my favorites.
All right, man. Well, best of luck in your fight. Thanks very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Up next, we have Jordan Wahlburger with the Horn. Jordan, please go ahead.
Glover, thanks so much for the time today. How did the change of date affect your training camp here?
I've been doing this for so long, man. It's not the first time a fight got postponed, and we just readjusted a little bit. The conditioning, I call the guys in PI, they changed the conditioning. We call off the sparring. We just keep ourselves in shape. And when they call again and say, because they call like a week after or 3 days after and say, stay in shape because we're going to call you very soon. So we just stay in shape, and as soon as they called the fight was going to be May 13, we went right back into sparring, and everything went well. I feel really good at this.
Have you had any challenges finding sparring partners or getting your training in kind of through a regular camp?
Yeah, definitely. We closed the camp with like 4 or 5 guys, the most. We have 2 jiu-jitsu guys, and my coach son, he's an Olympic. He's going to be in the Olympic 221. 220 is supposed to be, but well, with all this, 221 he's an Olympic boxer. So we closed that camp like that, but it's a challenge that I think my experience take over. I know how to train now. I know how to put myself in situations and make the camp better like that. I think it's a challenge for everyone.
Awesome. You were scheduled to fight in Nebraska, the same place where he grew up. Now the fight's been moved to Florida and there's no fans. How does that change the dynamic of this fight? This was supposed to be a fight for him in front of his own crowd.
Yeah, crowd is a crowd, man. To be honest, people, the fans respect me so much. Like I fought in Sweden, and I felt the love, I felt the respect of the people. I see guys take a picture with me in the street and say, "Hey, Glover, I always rooting for you, man. You're a great guy. You're a nice guy." But not this time, It's the energy of the fans, no matter what. No matter where, in the guy's house, in my house, in Brazil or Connecticut or whatever, it's always going to be the fans in the arena. It's going to be the energy. I don't want to get used to it with this no crowd, But like I say, it's a challenge that we're just going to have to deal with.
You're on a 3-fight win streak, and there's a little bit of a logjam at the top of the light heavyweight division. What's at stake here at this fight? What are you guys fighting for? Where does this put you with a win?
Well, we're fighting this is going to be a great fight, right? Anthony Smith coming forward. I come forward, he got a lion heart, and I got the lion heart, a heart of a lion. We're not going to quit. And it's just for the championship, man. Well, I'm looking forward to get that title. This is the only thing I miss, at this sport, and I think I deserve it, and I know I have to fight Anthony Smith right now, and after that, I'll be right there again, man.
All right, thank you so much, Glover. Best of luck on Wednesday night.
Thank you, man.
And last up, we have Shaquille Majori from MMA Mania. Shaquille, we have time for a couple of quick questions.
Sure. Hey, Glover, thank you so much for making the time today. First, it seems like for a while there, the UFC was putting you up in almost a gatekeeper position against up-and-coming talent. So it's really nice to see you get someone like Anthony Smith, who has recently fought for the title. How did you feel when what was going through your mind when the UFC offered you this fight?
I love it, man. I wanted to fight Anthony Smith for a while, and the guys is over there in the top three right now, and yeah, take a guys is a higher ranking than me, it's a great opportunity because like I said, I don't take a fight, I don't say no to any fights, I'm going over there and fight anybody. Um, doesn't matter who. They all tough in UFC. They all hard to fight, but like yeah, fighting higher ranked guys is it's a big step for me. So I like it.
More for me here. Obviously, you've been asked a few times about what a win will do for you, but has the UFC or your management said anything explicit about what's next should you win this fight?
No, not really. Uh, just gotta look up for this fight, win this fight, and then we see.
And the last thing for me, sir, one of the things Anthony has expressed sort of disappointment about is it seems like every time he gets a big win, people are talking more about how bad the opponent looked as opposed to how good he looked. Do you believe Anthony Smith is underrated and overlooked by a lot of people?
No, Anthony Smith is a tough son of a gun. He's like I watch his fight, man. He fought Gustafsson, he fought. He beat a lot of a great. He beat a guy like Shogun and Rashad, man. Those guys are a legend. Those guys is no joke. Shogun can catch you with the punch, and people say they washed up and everything, But when you fight a legend like that, it's never washed up. It's always a trick they can pull out of their hat. You know what I mean? So you never know. He beat a great name, great fighters, and I'm just looking forward to a test Anthony Smith.
Yeah. Thank you, Glover. Stay safe, sir.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, Glover. You are good to go, sir. We appreciate the time.
Thank you, man.